This is the presentation on Module 3, and it covers the mentoring partnership agreement for tenure track. As we discussed in Module 2 on mentoring roles, there are three basic components to the mentoring agreement. First is confidentiality. The second is goals are set by the mentee. And the third is that there is a structure with which the mentoring partnership is processed. So confidentiality is very important. It's important to know that all personal information shared during the discussions will be assumed confidential unless specific permission is granted to share specific pieces of information with others. Again, specific. With the goals, don't forget it is the mentee who sets the goals, but that can be difficult because the mentee really doesn't know what they don't know yet. And as they get to know the college better, they might come up with different goals. But I would encourage you to really look for deep goals that are important to the mentee rather than goals that can be easily accomplished, even though you will measure your progress on these goals at the end of the year. So the mentoring relationship does have a beginning, middle, and end. And it's really important that you meet regularly to go through that relationship. I highly recommend that you plan for a schedule of meetings at the beginning of the academic year. You're planning about 6 meetings, and hopefully it can be done relatively easily. And if any changes come up, you can reschedule that particular meeting. So according to the contract, the mentor has some responsibilities. First up is to complete this workshop. You will meet your mentee at the first year tenure orientation session, which happens in the opening week of fall quarter. You will be asked to complete the partnership agreement by October 15th, and hopefully at the same time, you will have scheduled all your other meetings for the year. I highly encourage you to conduct one classroom observation in the first quarter because that can help the tenure candidate who's just come in. There will be socials. The first orientation session will be a social in person. And I plan to have one social per quarter. And the socials have been extremely beneficial to people who attend because the mentees talk to each other about their experiences. They talk across mentors to get advice on specific things that maybe a particular mentor might have experience with. And as a group, there is mentoring that goes on. So mentoring can happen in many, many forms. And I think the more interaction there is, the more opportunity there is for mentoring. So all the activities of the mentor should be tracked, and a timesheet should be submitted to Faculty Commons by May 15th. And it really is helpful going forward in the program to have you give some feedback on what worked and what didn't work. So the mentee is going to have a lot of things that they might be asking you about. And I thought I'd start off in this session just to kind of go over a little bit of the resources of the college. Governance structure, I think, is very important for you to go over with your mentee if they're willing to listen about this, because things like the Board of Trustees meetings and the governance councils do a lot about the policy at the college. It could be that your mentee will fulfill their governance requirements by being on one of the governance councils. So it's very important that they know what each of them do. There also are other ways that they can fulfill their governance requirements. I think it's very important that you stress the reading of the union agreement because it outlines a lot of rights for the mentee, including intellectual property and load and pay levels and so forth. Also very important is to understand how the promotion process works and how performance evaluation works at the college. I have these other agreements here so that they are accessible. It's just great to have these things all in one place when you need them instead of having to search through SharePoint. I find that having the calendar is a really good thing because it really maps out the rhythm of the college as it goes through the year. And explaining what each of these days are. A lot of mentees don't understand which college issues days are for or professional development days. It's also very important to understand, how these all fit in and how they break into the rhythm of your teaching. I just copied this off the faculty resource page that's on SharePoint. Some of it is can be useful, again, just having it in all in one place. But more important, I think, is the student resources, because I find that new faculty are not aware of all the resources they have to help their students. And they might be unaware of what the procedures are with, DRC or early alert, or with any of the tutoring centers, what is available to their students. So I think it's important to have this kind of list of resources for them and talk to them about it in each of your sessions in case it's really more important when they need it to be able to tell them which department they can go to for help. I think also it's very important that they know where to report concerns if they come upon them. So this is the assignment for the tenure track mentors, and it is to read the tenure track mentoring agreement and the email that was written to the TRC by the mentor cohort of 2021-22, and discuss your thoughts on the following. How is this relationship going to benefit you? How will it benefit Bellevue College? What are the potential barriers to success? What resources support do you need to become knowledgeable about to achieve the goals that your mentee might have? And how will you measure progress? And I think it's important to kind of make that meaningful, even though you might not make the progress that you think that you want to make. So that concludes the Canvas portion of the workshop. Next, there will be a synchronous discussion panel, and we'll see you there.